Hello, my name is Yvonne Ashton, and welcome to our Mornings with Mia show. Today I have LA-based designer Anthony Maslo of The Boy Who Cried Flowers here with me today to help answer your flower questions. And just in case you've been unplugged from the flower world, Anthony is also our 2020 Mayesh Design Star. We just launched his first video on color gradient with really great success, and I'm super excited to have him on so we can all get to know him better. Welcome, Anthony.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I love it. And I love that you have pink hair and you're sitting in front of a pink wall and you have poppies with you. Beautiful.
Icelandic poppies, one of my favorite flowers.
Yes, they're gorgeous. Gorgeous. So before we get started into the questions, can you just get us started by telling us a little bit about yourself and your flower story?
Yeah, absolutely. Flowers came to me later in life. I was, before this, a hairstylist behind the chair for about 10 years in Chicago. I saw that Tanya from Chicago. Hi, Tanya. Um, I love Chicago. It's where my roots are. I loved being behind the chair and I was very inspired by it, but I always said that I would retire after 10 years of doing that. And I thought that I would be retiring to some random small town and have a little micro flower farm, but it turned into LA and becoming a floral designer, which I'm thrilled about and I love. So couldn't be any happier with it.
Very cool.
Yeah. A little bit about my background too. I was born in
Yeah.
Chicago, but I was raised in Florida. So if you notice, I really enjoy tropicals and, I use them in a lot of my work, even in not so tropical looking arrangements. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that like Florida was I grew up on the beach too. So
Nice.
I would like play in mangroves and, so it's a very inspiring place for me too.
Yeah. And this is where I'm living now. It's not very tropically though right now in Florida. It was a cool 54 degrees this morning, which is very cold for us Floridians.
Yeah. I know we're feeling it in California too. It's winter. It is
Yeah.
winter.
Yep. My little one actually wore boots to school. So I grew up in Cleveland, so I find it humorous when we're like all cold and everyone's wearing boots and there's no snow. There will never be snow. Right? So can you tell us a little bit about what the story is behind your company's name, The Boy Who Cried Flowers? Because it's so interesting and I'm sure there has to be a story.
Yeah, I'm a prankster. I love pranking. I'm close with you, like
Yeah.
getting pranked. As I get older, less and less. However, The Boy Who Cried Wolf has always been like a funny story to me, and I battled with the name for a while. I was just a freelancer. It wasn't intended to become a business right off the bat, but I have a very loving relationship with floral design, and it moves me to tears often. I cry after a lot of events, and from just happiness, from just joy, from like nailing something and bringing a vision to life. Because a lot of the times it's just sketched out on a piece of paper when I'm starting, and so The Boy Who Cried Flowers became like kind of synonymous with this like gratitude that this career has brought into my life, and hopefully with anyone on my team in the future. And it's just a funny thing that it started off as like a funny joke, and now it's turned into something that actually means something to me, like crying flowers.
Yes, I love it. I knew there was going to be a story. So I know as you have grown as a designer that sustainability has become a passion of yours, and maybe it's been a passion for a very long time, but do you want to talk a little bit about that and then also kind of your take on how we can work towards being more sustainable as an industry?
Yeah, absolutely. My hair past was with a company called Aveda, and it's a company that's very conscious about, as we're doing these services, how can we be more environmentally friendly? How can the tools we use be more environmentally friendly? So I think it starts with education, and as an individual, really educating yourself on how you can make small steps without judgment to move in a more sustainable way. And, in the beginning of my career and training, I was taught to do everything in foam. And, the more I got to doing it, and I love to create things for art. So there might not necessarily be a purpose behind it. So when I'm creating specifically for art, I don't like to create and, waste, things that might just end up in a landfill or not be recycled or reused. So I just educated myself and really learned. And I think that's what we all can do, is without judgment towards each other or ourselves, is just educate ourselves on what we're using, how we're using it, and how we can create a better space for the world. Like, we're not the only people existing on here. And at this point, I think it's an alarming thing, the environment, and the fact that it is where it is. So the more we can do, the better I think we're all off.
I love that. I was actually listening to a podcast this morning, Ashley Graham's podcast. Have you ever listened? It's called Pretty Big Deal.
Oh,
And
I need to.
yeah, and she had Sophia Bush on there, and she was, she's, very active in the world and just speaking up, and she talked about how, how to interact with different people and different thoughts and things like that. But the one thing that I love that she said was that we need to sit and listen and educate ourselves, and then also be part of that conversation and how to move forward. And so I just love that, and I thought that kind of tied in well with this piece of our conversation too.
Yeah, I need to check that out because that sounds spot on.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's so important. I think that's what drives us to become better artists, to become better business owners, to become better people as a whole, is, just really experiencing what's going on inside and outside and figuring out how we can make it all a better place.
yes, yes. I love it. It's good.
I'm so hippy dippy. Hearing myself.
I love it. It's all good. Peace, love, and happiness. Who can't relate to that,
Hey,
right?
I love that.
So, Anthony, I know you do all sorts of design work. You do retail, events, brand, editorial, weddings, everything pretty much. What is your favorite type of floral design to work on?
My favorite type of floral design. I love client interaction.
Mhm.
So I love bringing visions to life. I love helping someone see a vision that wasn't necessarily there, whether it's an event, a wedding, but I will say when I get to do that most is typically with events.
Right.
Event design, especially when it comes to like branding for a company. We get a lot of companies whose brand are, aligned with ours. So it just makes sense. And a lot of people put great trust in us, which is so fun because we get to conceptualize and create an entire, ambiance for them with our talents and crafts, which is like probably the coolest thing, day to day, getting to do this. So I would say events, to answer your question, is my favorite. I also love it's the coolest thing on earth to me, getting delivery orders.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, because you get to show up with flowers to someone's house. Like,
Right.
I think it's the coolest thing out there that you get to give someone the gift of flowers.
Right. You literally get to surprise people with flowers. Mm-hmm. That's lovely. I love it. All right, Anthony, you are a very creative person. Just everything about you is creative. Where do you look for inspiration? I know you talked a little bit about it in the video, just hint, hint, in case anyone hasn't watched his first gradient color video. But can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Inspiration is something huge for me. I never lack inspiration. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's inspiration everywhere. Right now, what I've been noticing a lot is walls. I love decaying concrete. I spent a week in Puerto Rico this summer for my brother's wedding. It was so lovely. And we traveled all throughout Puerto Rico. And just the way some of these buildings are just, they've been abandoned and now they're becoming overgrown with things. So it's very inspiring to me to pay attention to like how things cross, how leaves grow on things. And, ultimately I love to create nature almost like a surrealist version of nature with my arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
So paying attention to those. Also, fashion is huge to me. You know, being in the beauty industry and working in fashion for years of my life, it's always served as a source of inspiration. And street fashion specifically is just so fire. I love going to like, you know, different places and seeing how people dress and like the culture. There's inspiration everywhere for me. I'm also a daydreamer, so I could be staring at the highway and just picturing, you know, sculptural elements and be inspired, and it doesn't even exist. So, so yeah, that's how I get my inspiration. I think I was so touched by one of the comments on the YouTube video of the color grading arrangement that someone had mentioned that they were so inspired after watching the video that while stuck in traffic, they were seeing things differently.
Oh my goodness.
Ultimately, that's a gift that I would love to give to the world, is to be able to like be inspired just by any surrounding you're in.
Yes. Oh, that just gave me chills. How did I miss that comment? I don't know. There's been so many, and honestly, I mean, we've talked about this with you, and we sent to Anna and Claire and Paul, and you guys were all like, made this first video so amazing. It's probably like our best first video out. You know, it's still to this day. We had a videographer work on our first video from last year, and it goes to one night till like I literally just got a comment on it, like the same comment. People are like beating this thing up. Like, we know it wasn't cut well. We're sorry. We're sorry. Like, I don't know what to do, but this one is just so magical and it's done so perfectly, and people are just so excited and happy, and they weren't stressed or just, you know, their attention was where it needed to be. So
good. On that note, I would
like everyone, because
yes, I would love to shout my team out, Fallen, Claire, and Anna. They're all tagged and listed on the video, so you can follow their accounts and see their other work. Unbelievable. Fallen produced the event and made it produced the shoot and made it so easy for us all to just click. All right, checklist done. You know, it was so fun too for all of us, which is so important. You know, and I hope that you can see that, because our goal was for you to feel as a viewer as if you were hanging out with us and like one-on-one in studio, getting like the real tips and
it was lovely. It was lovely. Yeah, and I don't just think that. Obviously, like the thousands of people that have watched it so far think that, and so many comments. So that's really great.
I can't wait for you guys to see the rest of them.
I know. I can't wait to see it.
We're so excited.
Yes, it's so fun. I love it. All right. So let's see. If you could design a wedding or an event any way you desired, what colors and flowers and other elements would you incorporate? Like, you could do whatever you wanted.
Ooh. So lately I've been loving it would be multicolored.
Yeah.
And there would be, let me see if I can describe this off the top of my head for you. I would love to mix the same colors together in different variations. So like clusters of bright yellow to more of a soft creamy yellow. Same with bright reds to more of a pastel. Like all of this in one event. And I would love to create something really immersive that you really felt like you couldn't escape the flowers. Like you were just always, you know, like the feeling of being in like a flower field and just like twirling and, you know, that would be lovely. I also love the idea of I would love to do an enormous hanging installation, like something over a freeway is my ideal goal. I'm going to beat this goal like till it happens, because I would love to do something specific. I've been talking about this a lot lately. Over the 405 or the 710 if you're in California.
Wow.
Those freeways are terrible. So I would love to have that inspiration while people are in one of the worst places possible. You know, rush hour traffic in LA.
Yep. I have experienced that, and it's not fun.
So I would love to like do something like that. Other goals of mine similar to that question would be, I would love to tour with an incredible artist. Okay. I would love to tour with an artist and create with the stage designer incredible floral landscapes that would, just like help transcend the whole event, the whole concert.
Right.
That would be something that would be.
I love that you're putting it out in the universe because.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Always have to write it down. I think putting pen to paper, ink to paper is one of the most powerful things you can do as well. So I always try to write these things down.
You write it down. Yeah. I don't have a lot of paper. I maybe need to get some paper. I have a pen though.
Right. Or your phone. I think text. I have a note section that's just like all these goals, and it's so funny. I'll look back sometimes and be like, when did I write this goal? I didn't even remember having this goal, but this is great because I'm inspired now again.
Yeah. My husband he's been, I don't know, listening to some podcast, and it's talking about writing down goals, and if you don't write them down, that they're never going to happen type of thing. I don't necessarily believe it's that extreme, but he did. He got a planner, and he's going to start using it. So yeah,
that's so exciting.
However you need to do to make it happen, you got to do it.
I think for myself, I couldn't live my life without a planner.
Yeah. Okay, so just so you know, you already have people volunteering to help you out with your freeway installation.
I love that. It would take an army of people. I've thought about this a lot. So it would be a collaboration between hopefully every florist out there.
So, Diddy said so, and Penny, she's available to help as well.
I love this.
Yeah, Angela saying doing that for Lana Del Rey is a huge dream of mine. Laugh out loud.
Me too, Angela.
Right?
That's what I have in mind. She's one of them I have in mind.
I love it. So good. Oh, and Aaron says, "Oh my God, I will buy tickets." So.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, this is great. Lisa, just going back to kind of what you were talking about, says, "I love that. There's beauty in everything. You just have to open your eyes to see it." I love that.
I agree with that 100%, Lisa.
Yeah, it's good. Lisa is saying the business name story is the same for me. The name took root and it created itself, and I couldn't shake it. It stuck. Where pigs fly. That's
oh my God, is that your name? Where pigs fly? That's the cutest.
It is very cute. I love it.
That's a really good one. I love business names too.
Yes.
They're so good and so catchy sometimes.
Right. Let me do a few questions too while we are here. Let's see. All right. From Lori. Anthony, blue is the color of this wedding season. What other flowers other than Orangium do you suggest for men?
Ooh, other than Orangium, I think that, what are they called? Bachelor's buttons, coneflower. Those are really cute. I love blue bunny tails. The little guys. Those are great for men's flowers. Also, I think we're in 2020. Let's not gender flowers anymore. Let's start seeing everything as non-gendered. I think, men are in a place, and hopefully it continues to go this way, where they can have flowers that aren't necessarily men's flowers. I love lilies. I think they're so stunning. And if it's necessary to have the blue, I think you can use elements like, silk or, a pocket square to accent those things.
Yeah, it's very good. I love it. I love lilies too. I think they're beautiful, but they actually make my lymph nodes explode. And
so many people.
Yeah. It's a lot of flowers, but those in particular, one time, before I even knew it, I've been with my husband since I was really young, like 16.
Oh my God,
high school sweethearts. Yeah, and one of my first jobs, my big real job, he sent me this huge vase of lilies. And it didn't bug me the first day he sent it, but I walked in that building, and it was a big building. I walked in the front door, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can smell the flowers!" It scented the whole building, and I had to put them outside because I couldn't sit at my desk anymore.
He just wanted you to go home from work.
Yeah, Yeah, it was
He was
beautiful,
like,
but
that's
after that,
awesome.
no more lilies for Yvonne. Nope.
That's so funny. I had a friend over. I have a big arrangement of lilies in my living room the other day, and she started sniffling. And she's like, I must be allergic to something. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
probably the lilies. We put them outside as well.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta do that sometimes to the poor lilies.
But yeah, I
Um,
love them.
yeah, me too. Okay, so Penny says, when doing a wedding show, do you do Pantone, go big, or keep it simple? Thanks. Do you do wedding shows? Or if you
Wedding
did,
show.
what would you do?
You know, I would probably go big. Well,
Yeah.
I say I'm such a Gemini, you guys. I say go big right away, right? Or keep it simple. I'm like, but that sounds interesting too. Um, hmm. I think in 2020 I'd go big.
Yeah.
I would do it up this year. And if I were going to play off the color blue, I would make it really interesting and really fun. And right off the top of my head, a pitch I'd have is like a lot of whites with
Mhm.
blue, almost
Right.
like blue moving through it. So there's like a really beautiful story. Um, so yeah, I'd probably go big.
Great.
I'm not my business right now, we don't cater to wedding shows per se.
Mhm.
Um, and we do very few weddings every year. I think we take about 10 weddings.
Okay. Still good, though. It's a good number. All right, we're going to head on to some other questions that were sent in before the show. Mythology Floral sent in, how did you get into floral design? I know you touched on it a little bit, but can you talk a
Yeah, I
little
would
bit?
love to go into that a little more.
Mhm.
Also, great name, Mythology Floral. Another good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Florals for me was really funny because had I left Chicago being behind the chair as a stylist and moved to California to start educating for a company. And at the time, it was everything I wanted. I wanted to travel every week, and all of that was fulfilled. But 2 years in, I started to realize that it was no longer my passion per se, and flowers just stuck and clicked with me. And it was funny, I was going through my Instagram and realized, oh, when I lived in Chicago for years, I made a weekly arrangement for my apartment.
Mhm.
They're terrible. Um, we'll have to do like a look back at those one day. They're hilarious. They're just flowers shoved in a vase, I'd say.
Right.
So I was like, oh wow, there's an interest here. And I was on the phone with my best friend who was like, well, LA has a flower market. You should go.
Mhm.
So I went that day. I was like, you know what? I'm going right now. For 2 weeks, I went probably twice a week and realized that I had been going to, I don't know if any of you have been to the LA flower market, but it's a whole block essentially.
That's
And
so
there's
cool.
some outside stores. I thought the outside stores were the whole market.
Oh.
And there's like this store I went to was only they only carried orchids,
Yeah.
houseplants, and then like grocery store, I'd say like, bunches of cut flowers.
Right.
So I'm like buying these grocery store bunches and anthurium plants, trying to make something interesting. Long story short, my apologies, is I went into the market and I asked everyone and anyone, like, who's hiring? Like, how do you get a job in this? Like,
Right.
what's the training? Like, where do you go to school? And it took a few weeks before someone was like, hey, this is the route, or. So I went to classes in the meantime. I took classes at community college, even.
Mhm.
I took classes with some great florists. Flower School LA is an incredible school here in Los Angeles. They
Yeah.
have a New York location as well. And they offer awesome classes as far as like really getting into the nitty gritty of floristry.
Right.
And YouTube. Mayesh Design Star videos were huge for me. I remember seeing Sean win
Mhm.
Mayesh Design Star and telling myself that next year I will do this. And it's incredible now to be here this way. It's still surreal because I'm like, what? It's one of those things out to the universe.
Did you write
Um,
it down?
I did in a way.
Good.
It's funny because writing things down, I look back and I'm like, oh, it's definitely different than I had
Yeah.
imagined, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So yeah, with floristry, and I was fortunate enough to have a few different florists who had big names trust me to, run their large events. And through that, it was kind of, I was thrown into the fire, and I had to learn how to create, upscale and artistic flower moments
Right.
without any experience or knowledge. So it happened pretty fast, and I never stopped learning. I adopted a childlike attitude, which I think also plays up to the name, The Boy Who Cried Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just look at everything through wonder and interest and excitement. And that's really how I got where I am. And eventually, through Instagram, clients started contacting us for events that I couldn't even dream up to begin with, so it just took off. But through a lot of hard work, a lot of education,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say to anybody out there looking to boost their education, classes are wonderful. Sue McClary, that's going to be insane. So anyone that gets to go to that is like
She's
going to learn
amazing.
an insane amount. But also there are accessible resources out there like
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, but also community libraries. They have a lot of floral books, and I found fascination in reading them all, truly, because you find things that you wouldn't do, and you find things that you would do,
Right.
and you learn how to try new things.
I love it. I love it. And it's kind of come full circle for you a little bit because, obviously I think we all need to be wanting to continuously educate yourself. But now you are an educator. Before you even came on and did Mayesh Design Star, you're teaching at Flower School LA.
I am, yes, and I'll be back in February, you guys, February 17th and 18th. I Education's huge for me, and making it accessible is also huge for me, because what it was lacking when I was looking was artistic designers, people who were creating interesting things that weren't necessarily for prettiness, or
Mhm.
is more for expression. And I love that now that it's getting a little more accessible, and I love to be at the forefront of that, and
Yeah.
changing how people entering this industry get to see it.
Very cool. Love it. Heather's Seguro, maybe? I'm awful with names.
Heather S.
Heather S. She wants to know, how long have you been working with flowers?
Thanksgiving was my 2-year anniversary.
Ooh, congratulations.
I'm a baby.
Cheers to that, right?
Thank you. Got my tea. Cheers.
Good, good. And then Juliana says, yay, I'm so excited. The Mayesh Design Star has retail, most floral resources, tutorials focused towards wedding and event design. Do you have any recommendations on great resources for retail florists to become better at running / organizing a retail flower shop, workshops, classes, anything like that?
We're more studio based. We don't have a retail space, but it's a goal.
Yeah.
We'll see a Boy Who Cried Flowers retail space in the future. And I'd say, for us, what's really important is the marketing, like how we are coming across to the world, like what values do we have, and tying the products in that way. Like, I don't want to, speaking for myself, create a brand that's complete consumerism, and I'm trying to shovel out product, or etc. For me, it's more about creating art and giving art to the people who are interested in that art, and creating that niche brand. So I think following your heart in that sense is the best way you're going to motivate retail sales, etc. And take classes. There are so many talented florists out there that teach classes around, retail business, etc. Including like getting into the nitty gritty of like even waste of product, which is huge. I think, something that I've learned from Amy Nicole Floral, working with her, was that I love, in her classes, she'll pick up some of the stuff on the floor and be like, this is $50 right here. This is a boutonniere. And it was almost under someone's boot.
Right.
And I think, there's so many resources for that out there, even online, to
Yes.
better yourself. But my little point of view and tidbit on that is to just follow your heart and figure out what it is that your business is out there to communicate to the world.
I love it. And just to go back to talk about Amy Nicole real quick, I got to meet her in real life at the Curate conference that I went to and was a speaker at. And she is just so passionate about what she does. She's, again, an amazing educator. She's just, and on top of it, she's just a really sweet person. Like, I didn't even know her, and she bought me dinner. Like, and her husband brought it to my hotel door because they knew the
Oh
area.
my God!
And they were like,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, just super good people. So
she's very generous with her knowledge.
Yeah, she is. So, and I know she's kind of always doing lives and things like that too. So if you don't follow Amy Nicole Floral, let me just do a little.
Yeah, link her up. She's so great.
Yeah, her link is in the comments. So check her out because she's amazing. Hopefully one day she'll be a guest on this show. I'm putting that out there.
Yes.
We haven't made it happen, so maybe this will be my kick in the to get it done.
2020, yeah, it's the beginning of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Mornings with Mayesh Manifestation Station.
I love it. Manifestation Station. I need to write that down. Hold on. I love it. It's so good. Okay, and then to go back to Juliana's question, I think like at Flower School, because I talked to someone from there too a while back, and they really go into the nitty gritty of like retail and how that works and what does that look like. So check that out. I mean, I think that's a really great reason. Especially if you're gonna, retail's a big commitment, so you gotta make sure you have a good plan. You gotta make sure that you know what you're doing. You know, this isn't like you're just like, oh, I'm going to do this and it's going to work out. So, so point of sale systems. Do you do a point of sale system? Probably.
We use Square. It's very basic right now. So we use Square and we love it. We don't have a retail shop right now. So there's no need for us to use any system like Maz or, but yeah, Square is a pretty great one. With what we do, we're able to put everything in, including a photograph. So if we have someone working for us, they're able to sign in. Like if we have a pop-up, they can just sign in, view the materials for sale right on their dashboard and charge that way. But yeah, I don't have enough education on having a retail store and using a POS system. Okay. So my apologies, Jackie.
No problem. And then what about, do you know anything about websites? She's asking about websites.
So Fallen, the other half of the Boy Who Cried Flowers, does our website. And he's incredible. What I do know is it takes a long time and a lot of work. But again, I think, my most basic, I'm very creative and I like to creative direct. So for me, when I think about the website, it's again, like, who are you when someone is coming to your website? What world are you showing them? Where do you want your voice to be? Like, how do you want to be heard? How can you communicate yourself and what you offer the best way possible? Yeah.
I know, like, when I've created simple websites on my own, like right now we have like a completely custom site. It runs on OpenCart. Our site before that was on WordPress, which a lot of people use, and they have lots of plugins and things that you can do. But probably the easiest website that I've created were on Squarespace. They're super
Squarespace,
very affordable, very easy to do. And I know they have lots of different plugins and things like that too. So yeah.
And they have add-ons that you can purchase that even make it. Squarespace is great. That's what we use now, and it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. It's good, but it takes a lot of time. No matter how easy it is, it's still good to have a plan and sit down and make wireframes if you want to be technical about it. But you don't have to be a technical person. You just need to sit down and think about the flow and think about the pages you want and what information is pertinent to have on there. And I have to say, one of my biggest feedbacks for everyone that's watching, and I've talked about it before, so if you know me, you know what I'm going to say, but on your home website and on the home page, when people land on there, they need to know that they're in the right spot. Like, where are you, or where are you located? Who do you serve? Are you Los Angeles based? Then make sure that they can see that and find that. And on top of that, that information is so important for the search engine. So that's going to make you pop up for people. So
Yes.
yes, I see so many websites that don't do that, and it drives me bananas. So if you don't do that, get on it. Still love me for being stern with you, but you gotta.
It's a great point though, because without that, the search engine doesn't pick up.
No,
So
it
if
doesn't.
someone's in your city down the street from you trying to order, they're not going to see you.
Yeah, it's so important. So important. And there's way too many websites out there that don't have just basic information. You know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And to touch base on Squarespace again, I love, if anyone hasn't used it yet, you can view their templates. So you can actually see what the site would look like during the build out, which is lovely, especially if you're a visual person, which I've noticed a lot of florists are.
Yes, they are indeed. And not to just toot Squarespace's horn, but I also like their templates. They're like modern and clean, and they're pretty. They're not old and clunky like some other templates out there in the world.
Sponsor us, Squarespace.
I
know. We just love you so much.
Yeah, sorry, Squarespace and everyone else. It's just one that I've used a lot. So
yeah.
All right. So Ruska Marcello, I guess, wants to know, what is your favorite delphinium variety? Candle, Elatum, or Triton? I think this is such a funny question. I've never had anything this specific. So I'm wondering.
That is very specific. You notice I use delphinium a lot, huh? I can't say. I have a goal this year to not categorize flowers as favorite or least favorite, actually.
Okay.
I am doing a lot of work with the flowers in the past that I've always disliked.
Oh, wow.
So it all depends on what I'm creating, and what's available at the time. But and the color, it all really depends on what I'm working with, what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite of the three.
Yeah, so it's all good.
I love delphinium though, so I know whoever wrote that sees that I use it a lot.
I know. I thought it was funny. I was like, wow, so specific. We usually don't have that. Usually it's like, what's your favorite flower? Which I will be asking you later. Don't answer that right now.
Okay.
So let's see. I see more questions here in the comments. Let's see where I left off a little bit. So Amber wants to know, what are the top 3 mechanics you like to use when you're designing? Do you have a top 3?
I do have a top 3. My top 3 would be, number 1, ultimately, would be stems. I love, classic rose twist for certain arrangements. I love, utilizing your stems as part of the design is a great way to, not use any plastic, single-use foam, etc. Any mechanics that would require us to either recycle or dispose of outside of the flowers themselves. I also, secondly, early willow. Balled up into a vase is really great. More environmentally friendly. And then third would be chicken wire or floral wire that's coated. And for that gives me, with a pin frog. I love chicken wire with a pin frog. That gives me ultimately the ability to design in any vessel and have my shape hold and never worry about transportation, etc.
Great. Good stuff. All right. Lisa just had a comment. She says, I had been a floral hobbyist since high school, and educating yourself is so important. And yes, YouTube. And you can take what is meaningful to your style. Good comment, Lisa. Thank you.
Yes, Lisa. Lisa, you've been hitting it with all these good points. Yeah. I agree. I think that education, as a hairstylist, you're licensed, my past hairstylist,
Mhm.
you're licensed, and to keep your license, you must, it's not many hours, but you must have continuing education hours booked every couple of years and provide the proof of that. So I think having that as my background really instilled constant education for me. And again, it's something I'm passionate about. So
Yeah.
it's something that I couldn't live without.
Yeah. And I want to share this because we're in January 2020, new year. People have lots of goals. And Diddy shared her goal should this year is to learn one new design each month to grow as a florist. I think that's great.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Honestly, it's so amazing to have goals like that and just chip away at them, because in 5 years, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be like, oh my gosh, I learned that many arrangements in 5 years. You're going to
Yes.
be a master, literally.
Exactly. I love it. All right. Lisa says and asks, do you struggle with creating your own design versus what a client wants?
I think because of my training with flowers, having to learn I've worked for the most conservative, traditional, like roundy moundy pavés to like more artistic, like wild branches, and
Right.
because of that, I have access to a lot of different styles,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it really easy for myself to create almost anything. However, sometimes when a client doesn't necessarily have an idea of what they want and they have little information on the event or wedding, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
it does make it difficult to design, because with all of the endless possibilities there are, and you guys can kind of see how my brain works. I
Right.
see, you know, it gets a little murky.
Right. Yeah.
So probably struggle with creating what the client wants with no information, opposed to my own
Mm-hmm.
design.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right. Diddy says, what do you say to the students who want to take these classes from Sue or Holly and can't afford them? It is a struggle.
Yeah, I think education is one of the most incredible investments you can make into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And while it could be very expensive to, not everybody, but to a lot of people, uh, making it a goal and really trying to achieve that goal in small ways. I love this saying, you can't eat an elephant whole. You have to like start with a bite, right?
All right.
So having that as a goal, and just, maybe it's sell 2 more arrangements a week. And then, to fulfill that goal, to get you the money for these classes, maybe it's post 5 times on Instagram a week so that I can sell 2 arrangements a week so that I can get to this class. I think, instead of just taking it off the table for yourself, look at all the ways you can make it a possibility. And I see giveaways all the time for
Yeah.
classes and stuff. So keep your eye out on that. Put your notifications on for the post for the people you'd like to attend their courses. Go to their websites, subscribe, be the first to know, so that you can be the first to, there's always, I feel like, early bird special tickets. And
Right.
I do notice that a lot of educators have been, and conferences even, have been doing a payment plan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, I'd say, make it a goal, make it a priority, and smash that goal. Like, make yourself so proud.
I love it. I love it. So good. Erin says, I'm just geeking out on you. I admire your raw and realness. It's inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
So love it. Let's see. Let me see if there's any more questions. Lots of people loving you.
Oh.
Okay, so Lisa asks a question. She wants to know, do you use a CRM to manage clients for events?
What is a CRM?
Customer something management. I should know this because I do CRM. My mind
I've
just
never
went.
heard of CRM. I will have to look into it. If it seems like could be cool.
So
My brain's already spun for what it could be.
yeah, no, it's all good. So, Lisa, I recommend like if you have clients, especially if you're trying to kind of do some inbound marketing, you're getting people to your website and you want them to fill out a form, doing some sort of customer management, I think is really a great way to start a business and just get into the habit of doing it. So right now we use HubSpot, and obviously we're a big company and we use all the bells and whistles and things like that. But I think there's a HubSpot and I think MailChimp, and there's some other ones that are kind of like on that MailChimp level where you have the forms that you create through those sites and then you embed them into your website. You can embed it into like your Squarespace site or whatever it is. People fill out those forms, you get the information, and then you can manage them that way. So it's a really, I think, a great tool, and again, a great kind of tactic to kind of get used to doing, because as you grow, then you already have these systems and things in place that help you be more organized and stay on top of everything. There's also, like, if you're talking about clients and just managing that process, there's like, the curates. So like they kind of have the forms too. You fill it out. You can do the whole proposal and all of that. They manage the payment and things like that too. So there's curate. They're our favorite. There's a honeybook type of things. I know people. I'm sure everyone's gonna start sharing kind of what they do. Hopefully in the comments, wink, wink, um, and the different systems that they use. So, alrighty. We're a good team, you and I, Anthony.
Amen.
Yeah. Let me do one more question, I think, and then I'm gonna go into my rapid fire. There's a few other questions in here. I might try to send them to you. Yeah, someone's asking similar topic. Do you use software programs like Details, Honeybook, that type of thing? Yeah, no, Anthony does not, but yeah, there's a lot of good things. And I will put it in my show notes, but I have a actual florist software comparison chart on our blog. So you can Google that if you want, or just go to our blog and search for that. But yeah, I kind of talked about all the different things that all these software programs can do and help you out. Okay, so I don't want to pick a good one. All right, this is kind of a color question, which I think fits well for you. So
yes.
It's from Texana McGinnis. Are you mixing peaches and pinks in blush for weddings? And what are your favorite roses and accent flowers? Sometimes the peaches and pinks look muddy when I mix it, so I don't. But it's popular.
So, are you mixing peaches and pinks and blush for weddings? And what are your favorite roses and accent flowers? I'd say, it's all in the mixing of things and what you're trying to achieve. If you're looking to achieve that perfect balance of pink, blush, and peach, I hear you when it says it gets a little like muddled together. Separating with white textural flowers could be really pretty, like paper whites in between, something dancing above those. So you're breaking up that solidness. Because a lot of times when we work with a color palette that's so close together, it does have the tendency to kind of bleed together to our eyes, right? So I feel like as long as we start to break it up, or, some of my favorite flowers for this are tulips. And I love that, you get most of that color through a tulip that's been expressed or reflexed, or even just opens on its own. Yet there's a color in the center, right? And sometimes I love to have a tulip dancing to blend these colors together so that you tie that color in while breaking it up at the same time. I hope that explains it for you.
I think that's great. And then what are your favorite roses?
Oh yeah, favorite roses. So I love a good Juliet rose. Amnesia are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think the color is just so stunning. I love dainty textural flowers like blue muscari. And I cannot wait to see a lot of that. I hope to see a lot of that this year. It's going to be
Right.
so. I love that the color is blue. It's not one I would choose, but I love that about it.
Right.
So, blue mascari, I love. Like I said, paper whites, daffodils. Those small textural elements that get that break up the arrangement when you're clustering colors together like that.
Perfect. Good. So many comments. I love it. I love seeing that.
Good.
All right. Are you ready for my rapid fire questions, Anthony?
I'm ready.
All right. What's your favorite flower? I know, no favorites, but I'm asking.
No favorites, but honestly, like, how can you not? Like,
I know.
Icelandic poppies are they're unbelievable to me. And why is this beautiful center? But their petals just seem like fashion to me. It's like a designed article of clothing. So,
love it. Awesome.
Icelandic poppies.
Perfect. What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Duh.
Go figure.
I love it. Coffee or tea?
Coffee or tea?
Yep.
Tea.
Who do you admire the most?
Ooh, who do I admire the most? Wow, it's so funny that her name escapes me right now, but there's a show on Netflix called Abstract, and she is a designer for MIT, and she's working on 3D printing renewable sources, such as silk. And Nadir might be her name. She's just so inspiring and incredible. I'll post her. Okay. I'll post a little link to her or something on this because everyone needs to see her episode of Abstract.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll watch that tonight. Are you a morning or night person?
Morning. I go to bed at 8 p.m. Yeah. I can't even hang after 8 p.m.
Welcome to my world. I love it. What is your favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby, rollerblading.
Rollerblading.
I live right on the beach, so I'm able to hop down and go on the beach trail. It's just so lovely.
Nice. What is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Strangest thing I've ever eaten? A raw crawfish from like a creek in Florida. Like not even at like a crawfish boil or.
Was it a dare or something?
Yeah. Kids.
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy kids. What is one of your weird quirks?
Weird quirk. I'm a prank. Weird quirk. Yeah, I'm a little prankster. Yeah. I love pranking people.
You and my husband will get along very well.
Always harmless. Nothing like I just love to like. It's so. Yeah, you're like I know.
What is your favorite song?
Favorite song? All right, I just learned about this new artist, Tenario. And she has a song called Won't. And it's been on repeat for days now. It's so beautiful. Right now, that's my favorite song.
I love it. Are you a dog or a cat person?
I have 2 cats, but I'm a dog person.
Yeah.
I love dogs. Never thought I'd have a cat, but I love my cats. Are like they're flamingo and chicken. They have bird names. Gemini.
I love it. And then, do you have any? You talked about your workshop or your whatever that you have at the Flower.
Yeah, I'll be doing the intro series at Flower School LA, February 17th and 18th.
Great.
And then there is going to be a few more things on the schedule for this year, probably talked about in March.
Lovely. And how can our listeners connect with you after the show?
I would love to connect with you guys. You can find me on Instagram at The Boy Who Cried Flowers. And you can also subscribe to our email list on our website. We don't send out emails often, but we're looking to change that this year to keep you guys in the know.
Great. And yeah, there's his link. I put it in the comments. Thanks. And then one last question for you. What is success?
Oh, I love this question. As you guys can see, like when I speak about artistry and whatnot, I like to reflect internally. And And I think success is such a beautiful little shining light that's different for each of us. For me, success is being financially free, um, being proud of my work. I feel very successful lately. Crying after every job gives me a sense of success that I don't know if money could ever give me. And I think happiness, like at the end of the day, really completing your day and going to bed thinking, wow, I did everything in my power to be the best version of myself. And if I didn't, I don't necessarily have judgment on it, but I'm waking up tomorrow a new person and I have access to that being again tomorrow morning.
I love it. That's so perfect.
Thanks.
Well, guys, that's a wrap on today's show. I hope you had an amazing week, amazing start to the 2020 new decade, new year. It's so amazing that I feel like I'm just really excited about 2020. I have no idea why, I just feel like that. Lots
I
of good
feel
stuff,
it too, though.
right? I love it. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Anthony, for coming on this show with us
Thank
today.
you.
And I will see you guys next month. Take care.